Imagine this. You're walking through the damp jungle, surrounded by strange sounds, and you see an ant that seems to be behaving normally. Suddenly, it begins to slowly climb toward the top of a plant. It reaches a leaf, opens its mandibles, and clamps down tightly. And there it stays, motionless, awaiting certain death. The disturbing part is that it wasn't the ant who decided to do this. Something foreign had already taken control of its body. A parasitic fungus that turned it into a kind of zombie. The culprit in this story is an organism as fascinating as it is terrifying. Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, a fungus that mainly infects carpenter ants in the tropical rainforests of Brazil, Thailand, and other humid corners of the planet. Its tiny spores stick to the ant's exoskeleton and, without the ant noticing, begin to germinate. Within days, the fungus invades its tissues, feeding on the organs, but keeping the host alive just long enough to use it as a puppet. This is where the story turns into a biological nightmare. For a long time, scientists believed the fungus directly controlled the brain of the ant, like a puppeteer. But in 2019, a group of researchers discovered something even more sinister. Ophiocordyceps doesn't need the brain. Instead, it invades the muscles and peripheral nerves, weaving a fungal network that acts like an alternative operating system. It's as if it installs new software in the ant's body, rewriting its movements. The result: the ant is still alive, but its decisions are no longer its own. Every step, every contraction, every bite responds to the fungus, not the insect. When control is complete, the fungus commands the final move. The ant must climb to a high point, where wind and humidity favor the spread of spores. There, it performs the last gesture, the death bite. It locks its mandibles into a leaf or branch, anchoring itself like a living nail. Then it dies. But the story doesn't end there. Days later, a long fungal stalk erupts from its head. From it, thousands of spores are released, falling to the forest floor and onto new victims, restarting the cycle. A silent army of climbing zombies, at the service of a fungus that seems to have written its own horror script. And the most shocking part is that this phenomenon isn't exclusive to ants. Nature is full of parasites that manipulate their host's behavior. The protozoan Toxoplasma gondii makes mice lose their fear of cats. The result: the mice let themselves be caught, and the parasite reaches the feline intestine, its ultimate home. The worm Leucochloridium paradoxum invades snails and transforms their eye stalks into green, pulsating appendages that look like glowing caterpillars. Birds, deceived, eat them, and the parasite advances its life cycle. There are even wasps that inject their larvae into living caterpillars, turning the victims into unwitting bodyguards until the young emerge. Biology is full of real possession cases that could outdo any Hollywood movie. But this isn't just morbid fascination. Studying these forms of manipulation opens doors to medicine and biotechnology. Some scientists believe that if we can understand how the fungus alters muscles and nerves, we could design drugs capable of modulating the human nervous system. Others think fungi like these could be used to control agricultural pests, reducing the need for harmful chemicals. Here, the line between horror and useful science is thinner than ever. The fascinating, and at the same time terrifying, truth is that this mind control is not science fiction. It's happening right now, silently, in the world's jungles. No secret lab or military experiment is required. Nature perfected it over millions of years. So, the next time you hear the word zombie, remember, the real undead already exist, and they don't come from a graveyard, but from the jungle. Now the inevitable question: could a fungus like this one day infect humans? The answer for now is no. But nature always keeps its surprises. And that's another story.